Welcome back to Sailing Trilleen, the story of the rehabilitation of an aged Vancouver 27 sailboat and of my own rehabilitation too. This week's video is short, sweet and limited, in part because there have been lots of jobs that have required all the hands that are available and often have included a large amount of sticky stuff which is bad for lenses. However, there's been good progress on cosmetic, structural and electrical points. One critical thing that every boat needs is a rudder. At the moment, Sailing Trilleen does not have a rudder. Her rudder is on the ground, where it has been since we finished repairing the structural cracks in it and wrapped some strengthening bands of biaxial GRP cloth around the rudder as a finishing point. So we've been waiting for some nice weather to put a coat of paint over the top of that glass fibre just to prettify it really. So this time has come as the sun has really come out this week, and it's now had a coat of international primer and then a pre-coat undercoat and then 4 coats of a rustic red international top black enamel. Those have to go on in a fairly specific schedule, so it's taken a couple of days to get the full coverage on, but the rudder is now ready to go back onto the stern of Trilleen, which is a really important stage because we obviously can't launch without it. Inside, the headlinings have been going up. I should say this is not something that I've been leading on. I've been very much fetching, carrying, holding and generally trying to assist Colin, the magician of a technician who is assisting me in many ways on this refit. He has done the apparently impossible and got beautiful bonding with the foam to the walls of the cabin, which curve in many directions all at once. With the headlinings going back up, it means that we're nearly in a position to put all the windows back in to the boat. In fact, we didn't manage to put the forehatch back in, so you can see there's actually a piece of glazing there where there was a blind block on the hatch just to keep out the weather, so that's back in. Unfortunately I wasn't able to film that because it very much was a forehand job, and also there was quite a lot of swearing and a large amount of very gooey butyl sealant. I took a few hours off on a Saturday to go and watch the start of the Myth of Malin race. It's one of the qualifying races for the Fastnet. After the 1979 disaster, the Royal Ocean Racing Club required all entrants to the Fastnet to have done a certain number of qualifying miles with, I think, 80% of the crew that will be on board during the Fastnet. It's a way of ensuring that the crews are properly trained and qualified. So the Myth of Malin starts off the Royal Yacht Squadron line and it shoots down through the Western Solent, past the Bill of Portland and then down to the Eddystone Light off Plymouth. It then spins round the light and comes straight back up again. It's an important training piece for the Fastnet because it goes through some of the major tidal gates that the race faces, round the Bill of Portland, through the Needles and indeed round Start Point. So it was a very pretty start, downwind with lots of spinnakers flying, and by all accounts the first part of the race at least was excellent, although there was quite a lot of very light wind drifting later on. I also got to go up to Gerald Simmons Mobility in Aylesbury to try some power add-ons for my manual wheelchair, which will improve my mobility when I'm on the boat. Well, that was a really informative session at Gerald Simmons, and I'm very grateful to the technician Nisad for his time and for his diligence in thinking through the various options. I got to try out one of the tri-ride add-ons to a power chair, which converts it into a power trike, but it is completely dismantleable, so that we can bag up the power bit into a nice big dry bag and store that separately to the wheelchair, and that will work with my existing wheelchair with the addition of some slightly lower ground pressure tyres to enable it to manoeuvre over worse terrain more easily. Thanks for watching Sailing Trilleen. If you're enjoying it, I'd really be grateful if you could comment below and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Subscribing is free, but it will make sure that the latest video ends up in your feed, and also helps more people find the story of sailing Trilleen.